Greetings and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst Ofs. Voted the finest in worst of lists in Popular Mechanics magazine in both 1998 and 2012. I'll be your host for today's journey into darkness, and I am Rob you blind, and what a distinct honor it is to be here yet again with a top 10 list that is sure to lower your sperm count. That's how intense it is. If you're trying to conceive, 9 out of 10 back alley abortion doctors suggest that you avoid watching an entire episode of Top 10 Worst List, as it can reduce sperm count in many otherwise virile men with excellent levels of potency. Today's top 10 worst of list. Now, this is going to be for all you, dim-witted mouth breathers out there, perhaps a little bit difficult to glom onto, so I'll try to go real slow, because it's big, complex words and whatnot. It's top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics to use in a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. So, like, if you're like some wacky, comedic German scientist going around like, we have ways of making the super baby, we will dominate the world with the CRISPR device, taking their DNA samples from Target, Übermenschen, and we will create a super baby who will become the ultimate Ubergruppenführer. It's tough to put a lot of stuff together sometimes on the fly. But anyway, I'm trying my best for you. I want to be there for you here in the final days of the human race. What a special time this is. I wanted to just let you know that I am fully aware of the whole idea and identity of what I become, a bona fide fringe element. As such, I want you to realize that I'm not taking any responsibility for anything to say on the show. For all you know, it's like pure conjecture. There might not be such a thing as the CRISPR device that can modify DNA strands and RNAs and make that stupid, what was that sheep that they genetically cloned back in the 80s or whatever? To make that sheep look like dirt, like a disposed, half-eaten Happy Meal inside of the dumpster back behind the Chili's. It's been sitting there in the middle of August for 14 hours. The CRISPR babies will dominate the world. Hey! The CRISPR babies are the balls. Alright, so anyway, also, I'm not going to be the partisan hack that everybody wants everybody to be. I'm tired of, expanding the ball of hatred that we're being sucked into. Like that show, like, nobody's going to know what this show is. The Prisoner, where this guy, he's like, whatever, I don't know, they never really explain anything in that goddamn frickin' show. But he gets in a bubble or bounces around inside of a bubble. That's the hate bubble that they're creating to capture all of us and draw us in. But where's that going to lead us to? We've got to find a way out of the hate bubble. We can't, there's no solution if we keep fighting amongst ourselves. Grow up. Get outside of the mainstream and alt media bubbles Everything that you see is a lie. Everything they've created for you and immersed us in lies, all designed to completely brainwash us into being mindless, obedient drones. We're fighting their war against us. Just like when we got $41 trillion worth of debt in this country. That's as much as the annual GDP of the entire country. It's the first time since World War II. But think about it like this. So we owe that money. We owe $41 trillion in debt. And what do we use it for? We're nothing. We've used it for tax breaks for the rich. And here's the other twist. Let me get my German scientist out to give me the other twist, because it's funnier in German. What we done? We took 41 trillion dollars, Deutschmarks, euros, and we gave it to the rich for tax cuts. That's a tough one. Tax cuts for the tax cuts. That's a good one. We gave it to the rich for the tax cuts. They're looking kind of like Bela Lugosi there a little bit, don't they? Tax cuts. But guess what? Woo. The same $41 trillion worth of debt is held by somebody. You gotta borrow money on the other end of it. And who do we owe that money to? The same frickin's a tough one to do in a German. The same police things. The same goddamn people we borrowed the money from is the same people we gave the tax cuts to. So we were borrowing $41 trillion to give $41 trillion to the people we're borrowing $41 trillion. I haven't lost it. False alarm. I recover quickly. What are you doing? What is it? Why be partisan anymore? It's over. Just treat each other like a golden rule, man. Do unto others as you would have done unto you, and we're all good. Our heads are all full of garbage. Both sides. I've seen it. Well, not a lot from the right. Kind of intolerable for me. But I have seen some of it, enough to know that these guys, have their news programs have the higher ratings, so they're curious. And weirdly, the right wing are more distrustful of government than the left wing seems to be. And the left wing is voting in an awful lot of hardcore right wing guys. Spamberger's former CIA, and his whole already within months of being elected and installed in Virginia, has already got a whole laundry list of anti-left-wing vetoes and stuff that she's been spewing forth. And Nikki, whatever, from New Jersey, also former military, and that guy from Maine, the Senate candidate with the Nazi tattoos and wife-beating things. It was, number one, I had PTSD, and so I can't be responsible for my actions. Number two, she was asking for it. I'm kidding. But yeah, that's what he is. And I mean, this is the transformation of the left wing. It's not really, because this whole, flipping over a bunch of, left wingers to be sheeps and wolves in sheep's clothing started with the Blue Dog Democrats that Billy Clinton had his ham-fisted majority whip, Rahm Emanuel, put together for him, where he's just going out and getting Republicans, asking them to, register as Democrats without changing a single goddamn agenda item on their wish list. It's just, We've been lied to, we've been tricked, we've been bamboozled. Every trick in the book, and the goddamn people who've been running this country and running this world are the same types of people who've been running the goddamn thing since the beginning of civilization. And they got game. Serious game. And they got us all over a barrel. I don't care who you are. And you don't have any friends? You don't have anybody who's got any money or any institutions or anything like that have a lot of potential to relieve us from out from underneath the boot heel of our oppressors. God damn it. All right, so what do we got now? Oh yeah, we got the most regrettable part of this thing. Really didn't think it through. Time for the commercial sponsors. Today's show is presented from the wonderful, giving visionaries who brought us Chanel No. 2 and now brought us a perfume called Smell. Smell gives you that exotic musk that your significant others will find irresistible and immediately go face down kitty up to satisfy your every want and need. It's Smell, a perfume from the Chanel No. 2 people who are, I'm guessing they're Chanel. Also, part sponsored by, from the U.S. Post Office. It's branching out. Out of necessity. It's running out of money. God damn it. Post Office can't even survive in the goddamn freaking negative waves, man. Always with the negative waves, Moriarty. I dare anybody to come up with the source of that reference. I dares you. So from the people who brought you the Forever Stamp now bring you the Forever Tramp Stamp. That's right, the post office is now also a tattoo parlor. And we'll give you the Forever Tramp Stamp, now available in 2 different designs. And we're also part sponsored by the brand new monthly magazine called Daddy. If you sign up and get a subscription to Daddy magazine, you can have a bunch of daddy issues before you know it. We have one every month. Loads and loads of daddy issues. And hasta pronto. It's Daddy magazine. Daddy. Now available in your local grocer's underwear drawer. All right, so let's get on with the business at hand. Today's top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics to use in a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. So, all right, so I mean, the premise is, for those of you who can't really follow along with that type of thing, is you want to make a super baby. That's perhaps you want to do that as a competitive thing to go up against the AI robots. Not a bad idea, right? Or perhaps you're looking to just sort of cash in with babies that might be able to survive the first couple of waves when the AI robots come to subvert the human race, send us all to the death camps in South America. The super baby might, be in the last wave. They might survive to the last wave. That gives them a few extra years, perhaps. I mean, the AI robot race will be unstoppable and will slaughter us willy-nilly like like nobody's business. But it's still 8 billion people. I personally think that they're going to unleash a hyper advanced COVID thing and turn the atmosphere into a gigantic open-air gas chamber. Go team gas chamber. Again, the genetically modified super baby, and that's what the CRISPR does. The CRISPR can, like, get rid of, like, sickle cell genes and other genes that people might not want. Turn your babies into a bunch of blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryans. That could help them survive. They're going to be looking, that there's going to be probably I got about 8 billion, 8.5 billion by the time they get around to, really robustly depopulating the planet with, like in an organized way. So you got 8.5 billion people. So they're going to wipe out at least 8 billion. But I believe they will keep around a hearty stockpile of living flesh beings in order to be able to, they're going to need their want Hunger Games. They love watching, good people suffer is the only thing that makes them happy. These petty bourgeois overlords of ours. And they're going to need something to harvest the organs. When they need, fresh kidneys or corneas or pancreases. So they're going to need a farm of humans for that. They're going to need to occasionally vary up the gene pool so they don't get a bunch of like flipper babies and mutants that can see through time. So they're going to keep a nice stash of humans around for that. And I don't know what else they're going to use this for, but they're not going to wipe out all of us. They'll keep at least a few million around in well-contained farms. And so, modifying, your baby in a CRISPR, getting that Aryan baby could be a good feather in the cap of your progeny. All right, so that's why we're doing the list. It's established. Now let's get on with it already. Number 10 of the top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics using CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby would be Billy Joel's white bread nobody impulse. Yes. Because, there's nobody who plays the role of a nobody better than Billy Joel. He comes out, he does this stupid shtick over and over again. It's been 70 years since he's written a new song that anybody wants to listen to. And he comes out like, oh, God, damn, nothing working anymore. It's just trots it out there and gets it out there. He's Piano Man again. What did he write that song in, 1970? So for 55 goddamn years, you have to watch him do Piano Man and pretend to like it? I mean, the only reason we're buying tickets to see goddamn stiff do a goddamn thing in public is so that we can brag about it to our co-workers and siblings and stuff. Oh, guess who I saw last night? Oh, I don't know. Taylor Swift? No, even better. Billy Joel. Oh my God, Billy Joel, I'm so jelly. Of course you are. That's it. Billy Joel's white bread nobody impulse. That's what I'm calling it, patent pending. Where he just goes out there and he sings stuff that has absolutely no impact on anybody's lives. No thought process in it whatsoever. Just a bunch of hooey. Oh, it's an Angela's restaurant. I'm sitting in a restaurant. And what else he's got? That's one of his big hits. What else has he got? He's got Just the Way You Are. I love you. Just don't go change. Enough of this calling everybody perfect. Nobody's goddamn perfect. I love you just the way you are. No, you didn't. How many times have you been divorced? How many wives have accused you of beating the hell out of him? He did that, right? He was one of those guys. Didn't Charlene Theron or whatever that Christy Brinkley, is it that her? Christy Berkeley? That Amazon lady, and he's 2'3", and she's 20 feet tall. And two walking goes, Uptown Girl. What the hell is Uptown Girl? Who the hell needs uptown girl. In the midst of the Reagan Revolution, he's taxing the hell out of the poor and Social Security, laying a tax on Social Security for like the first time, and giving tax breaks. So we're taking it down from like, I don't know, like 75% to like 30% of the upper tier of taxes. And then he's spending everything that we've got and creating the biggest debt, peacetime debt in history, to ramp up the military. Mr. Gorbachev, put it on that wall. Come on, baby, tear it down, baby. Don't make me look like a chump in front of Maggie Thatcher. Maggie Thatcher, I'm Ronald Reagan. Get it on, baby, get it on. It's Billy Joel. There you go, number 10. Number 9 of the top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics used in a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. David Spade's personality. Oh, God. I don't care what any of y'all say about anything that I've ever done, shall do, or am doing currently. But calling out David Spade, that rotten, just like a bucket of puke. David Spade comes in and says, I've got nothing funny to say, and I'm going to give everybody cringe, as much as possible, even when I just don't know what to say. I'm David Spade. I didn't go to frickin' Chris Farley's funeral. I'm David Spade. His personality's got to be the worst ever. How does that guy get a job? Out there somewhere in the universe, what's his frickin' name? Good actors can't get jobs at David Spade. And Rob Schneider. Wouldn't it be great to watch David Spade and Rob Schneider in one of those, like a live action remake of Celebrity Deathmatch? I know that one of them survives in the old MTV show Celebrity Deathmatch. I know one of the two survives. Only one of them dies in the matches, but to at least be rid of one of the two of those guys would be such a blessing. I'm so serious. All right, number 8, top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics used in a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. Donald Trump's turkey neck. Oh yeah. Now, I'm not one to cast aspersions about extra chins or chin-adjacent body parts. I realize myself that I've got more chins than Mount Rushmore, but let's be honest, that turkey neck man needs a makeover. It is way too vulva-esque. It's like, you're looking, it's almost like a, how you got like side boob is like a big, huge thing, and it's a nice thing, hey, little side boob once in a while, doesn't hurt nobody. But Donald Trump's neck looks like a side vulva. Like you're getting a view from the vulva on the side where it gets that little fold in there in the middle. It's like, Jesus Christ. Who puts you together in the morning? All right, top 10 worst DNA back. Number 7, Orlando Bloom's tackle box. Yes, it's, the problem is, that doesn't really fit exactly into the worst of, because anybody with a, sort of like he's said to be prodigious in that arena. So, no, that was a bad one. Oh, we go. It's bad. It's lousy, stupid, free/cheap digital online effects console doesn't have much. It's not helping. Well, that's not bad. That was almost professional. Let's try it again. It drives me nuts! Yeah! Orlando Bloom's tackle box. Now available in 3 different flavors. Number 6 of the top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics using a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. Jon Stewart spray tan. Oh, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. Jon Stewart's spray tan is darker than Trump's. What happened? Joe Biden wore a spray tan there in the freaking notorious 2024 presidential debate where he fell asleep. So I'd like to make a point about lowering taxes for the lowering tax to providing loan relief for the college students. Vote for Kamala. There you go. Jon Stewart's got a spray. Jon Stewart, I don't really trust that guy anymore, man. Not at all. I mean, he did a lot of bashing of the left. I do a bashing of everybody. I think everybody's underperforming significantly. Okay, but I'm not pretending to be a lefty on a lefty outlet. An outlet that people believe to be lefty. None of these outlets are lefty, by the way. I want you to, know that I speak about this from the heart. That Daily Show is just trying to keep the lefties plugged in. And they'll give them enough lefty stuff to make them artificially believe that they're on their team. But they are not. You watch a lot of people who would tend to watch the Daily Show are thinking to themselves or talk to me people, excuse me, I can't watch the news anymore, man, because it's so negative, man. It just totally triggers me, and I can't handle it, which is okay. I get it. It's a really negative world. You practically have to go to your the therapist immediately after watching the freaking nighttime news. So I get it, but the fact is that they get it too, and they know, every move that you're gonna do 20 years in advance, and they will. They can't have you going commando on the world without being plugged into some sort of news resource. Not necessarily because they feel like you're smart enough to need to be deprogrammed or hypnotized, brainwashed, because they don't feel any threat at all whatsoever. They're just trying to keep everything, steady while the end game is being rolled out. But when you become unplugged, you sort of think the reason why you would do it is because I don't feel like I have any real, true, honest representation of the power apparatus, no matter where I turn, be it the economy, be it the political leadership, be it the cultural mechanisms. There's just nobody really speaking. Now, I'm especially sensitive to this because I'm so far out there and so completely whack that nobody I've ever met is on the same page with me 100%. I'll start going off on the fact that, Eisenhower was a Nazi and when he got voted in 1953 and assumed the reins of power is when they started a gigantic purge of progressives and lefties in this country and wiped out everybody. And people would be like, huh? What's an Eisenhower? Nixon, Prescott Bush, Harriman, Allen Dulles, all those guys came in and just poof, end of leftyism, progressivism. All the rest of them come after that are all fifth column operatives. Not even in no way, shape, or form have they done much of anything to outweigh the negative accomplishments. I mean, living in a city like Chicago, you see it, I think, more than anybody, or any of the northern cities. I think they're doing the same thing in all the northern cities. We're just, wiping out small businesses. Small businesses have traditionally been the main job creators in this country, and they're getting wiped out in Chicago, New York, other places in the north. because they're taking away all the parking with these concrete barricades for bicycles that never get used. Only 1% of the people in Chicago even own a bicycle. There's never anybody in these bike lanes that they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to create, and bought all these machines so they can do a second snow clearing in the winter during the 3 or 4 months that we have a little thing called winter in Chicago. And the barricaded areas are so small that you can't send the regular snow plows in through that area. So they got to buy all new snow plows and a whole new second team to be able to plow them for. That spending who knows how many millions of dollars is going into this thing that nobody ever uses. And then people get on and complain about it, and say like, "Oh, what are you doing all this thing?" And then they have the bots, and then they have the what's the politics guys who do the thing with the Jesus Christ, it's like a French word, Russian word, agents provocateurs going in and attacking everything they have to say. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about blocking. People are dying. Hundreds of thousands of people are dying every minute on the streets when they're driving around their bikes, and drivers of automobiles are so reckless and destructive and murderous. And they like to eat. Many of them like to eat the carcasses when they mow down the bicycles. They get out of the car and they feast on the carcass, and then they drive away before the police arrive. I mean, it's just like it's the biggest level of insanity going on at this juncture. And a lot of it started again under I hate to say it because I know you love to get swaddled in his the aura of his dynamism. It's Bill and Hillary, man. If you look at the series of the accomplishments that they did during their presidency, it reads like a frickin' laundry list of right-wing objectives. He signs NAFTA. He goes after the Defensive Marriage Act. Signs that. It sets back gay rights 20, 30, who knows how many decades with the Don't Ask, Don't Tell, repeal of the Glass-Steagall, really kind of like a lot of people say that brought on the Great Recession or was largely responsible for it. And of course Monica Lewinsky, which built on that whole reputation that they've been saddling with John Kennedy since he died about being a womanizer, et cetera, et cetera. Just sort of builds on that legacy, I guess. Legacy of hatred, venal, stupid, ultra right-winger, brown-noser, fifth column operative sellouts. Look at the goddamn thing. Ended welfare without providing a means to get back to work. Created Family Medical Leave Act. Great. How much are people compensated in Family Medical? Zero. It's unpaid. Sorry. Not sorry. And it's only like 2 months or something, maybe 3. So you get an unpaid leave for 3 months. You're practically dead because you can't. Who the hell can afford taking 3 months off with no pay? I mean, I don't have the list in front of me. I'm not going to get it out because, quite frankly, I'm unimpressed by your dedication to fighting for what's right in this country. I mean, I'm going after lefties a lot on today's episode because I think that's where the solution lies. It's not going to happen out of the right. They have such an enormous devotion to being used by the ruling elite and their toadies that we'll never get any help out of them. And the rapid descent into tons of anti-Semitism, right-wing ideology that the Democratic Party is being led into and entrapped into is that's the point of no return, because then there's nobody who can fish you out of an endless cycle of growing fascism and intolerance, and that's not good. Not good. Broccoli. Alright, number 5 of the top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics to use a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. That's super baby! Pamela Anderson's courage. Because I think we've seen with her, like, oh, here comes the waterworks. Oh, the courage. Pamela Anderson cares to go back to her old cheesy makeup after the courageousness that she showed when she went makeup free as part of a movie promotion. Now she's back. She's back with the fake plastic boobies. Oh, God. Thank God for Pamela Anderson. Right. Number 4 of the top 10 worst DNA worst characteristics. To use the CRISPR device, mullet growing traits from Dog the Bounty Hunted. Oh, look, mullet power is a thing. It really is. Party in the front, back in the back. But business in front, party in the back. It's an infallible. Oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it! That's such a good one. It's an infallible conceit. Party in the front. Party in the... Business in the front, party in the back. It's the ultimate hairdo. And it's coming back. Frickin' Mullet City, USA, man. It's like the song ROCK in the USA, except mullet instead of ROCK. Because there's no rock anymore. Might as well go for a mullet. MULLET in the USA. No, doesn't really work. But somebody with some brains and some time in the privacy of their own crawl space might be able to come up with a way to make it work. We have to believe in something. Why not the mullet? The mullet comeback, the great mullet comeback of 2026. Where are we? Why is it? What is it? Who? There we go. Number 3. Top 10 worst DNA characteristics of a CRISPR device. Make that simple, baby. That was horrible. Make that super, baby. A little better. Dancing boob traits from Drain the Rock Johnson. Excuse me, please. I've got to drain the rock. I'm Drain the Rock. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? Can you? No. You can't smell it. He's got a private chef off in Hawaii somewhere. Number 2, the top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics of the CRISPR device. Kill Tony's capacity for talentless cringe. Kill Tony, my God. I tried watching that shiznaz. And God, where I don't see it. They gave him a show on Netflix. It's not just that the jokes don't land, it's just that seems uncomfortable in his own skin. There's no talent there. Does it take? I don't know. Maybe it does take. A lot of people say that, it takes great pain to create great art. Maybe they're right. Because these guys are just given these contracts to who's that other buddy of his, sewage system guy, tires guy. He's got no talent either. It's just and Tim Allen. Jesus Christ, have you ever seen one of Tim Allen's stand-up things from back in the 80s? Just a total talentless bore. Tim Allen. He just is like this grunt. It's supposed to be like, men are Cro-Magnons, and he's like leaning into it real heavy, like it's a cool thing. Like, I gotta fix a car. It's pathetic. And Kill Tony, saying Puerto Rico is a giant island of garbage. Kill Tony's a giant island of garbage, and that show of his is pure garbage. I saw the one where Roseanne comes on. Roseanne is out of her freaking gourd. She's like literally clinically insane now. And she's like looking around like going, where am I? I don't know where I am. Not to make fun of her, but that's an actual limitation of Roseanne, what she's like now. She should not be anywhere except home relaxing. And she worked hard. I hate her. I can't possibly see myself ever watching or liking anything that she does after what she said and done. I thought she was limited in her talents throughout her career when she was still cogent and still had her wits about her. But it's so full of hate. It's such a hateful spew. Just like everybody's on, seems to be so often on that side of things. Is there something I'm missing? Is the hateful spew commercially viable? I mean, they talk about how, go woke, go broke. But what about, what's the other side of it? Go hate is not great. Go hate, not great. That needs to be thoroughly workshopped. But the fact is that, just take, Donald Trump, just out of context of all the other hateful things that have been going on in our society and our country at large. The InfoWars, I mean, that guy, they charged him, the judge found against him for $1.5 billion when the guy was worth like $500 million. That's how good that hate monger wound up. Go hate ain't great. Weak. But go woke, go broke. I mean, look at all the things that Donald Trump has put out that have been failures. Trump Steaks, Trump Airlines, New Jersey, Atlantic City casino. How do you bankrupt a freaking casino? Go woke, go broke is bulldink. 100% bulldink. And there's plenty of things that are intelligent and insightful playing around there still. Most of it's getting eliminated from our culture. I mean, hey, they've already turned us into a society where 5th grade reading level is the average. So it becomes more difficult to make any intellectual elements, cultural elements, viable in a cultural mechanism like ours. But you still get stuff that's got some, brains behind it that people like, or that has some authenticity that people dig. Here and there. Most of that is dying out, though, because really they spent the last 30-something years eliminating all lefties from getting enough distribution nationally to become, big stars, and replacing them with a bunch of children of rich kids, rich parents, rich families. And they've got, look, when you don't have to worry about where whether you're going to be able to pay your dentist bill or your rent, or you got to make choices like that, or you can't turn the heat up enough on your own so that you're freezing, you got to wrap yourself up in blankets. All those types of things are life lessons that the rich never even are part of their lexicon. Hang on a second, I got one for you here. We're going to see. Hang on a second, I got a good one for you. Hang on. Hang on, I got you. Here we go. It's coming. I got a list of not, and this is getting to the point where I can't even keep up with all of it. Where's that goddamn frickin'... hang on a second. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Where am I? Oh, right. All right, here we go. So, you got, people like... Here we go. Here's my list. Finally, thank you for your patience. I apologize for the wait. But, a lot of this stuff I'm just kind of going where the flow takes me and stuff. So here's a brief list of just some of the manor-born babies that were let through the gatekeepers and into the mainstream because they led a life of privilege all their lives and would never go against the party line because they're already on the same team as the party line, as, part of the ruling elite. They do nothing to jeopardize it. Keep in mind that this list keeps growing, and I am just one person writing this in their spare time. So, As such, there are probably scads and scads of things that I'm missing, people that I'm missing on here, which I just found one. Daisy Ripley? Is that her name? I thought she was on my list, but she comes from a very rich family, and she has zero charisma. Zero! I worry about the idea that a big role such as that of Star Wars would be given to somebody with absolutely no connection to her humanness or struggle. You see her struggling, and all of her friends about to die, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Daisy Ripley." No softness, no warmth, no compassion, empathy. It's something that you naturally have when you go through life. Watch me, here's my empathy face. Oh. See that to you immediately, you're like, be honest. You're like, holy crap, look at that guy. It's because my life has been nothing but pain, regret, suffering, and loss. My whole life. And mistakes. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, don't get me started. So let's go through this list, okay? Because it's, plentiful, even though I'm, like I said, I'm just one guy. I'm not I've ever been paid for any of the stuff that I'm spewing forth presently. Kid Rock comes from a rich family. Emily and Zooey Deschanel, father of major league cinematographer. Kristen Stewart, father's a TV producer, mother's a script supervisor. Paris Hilton owns the Hilton Hotels. Nicole Richie, her father is Lionel Richie. Ariana Grande, her family is multimillionaires. And her mother's like one of the big outside contractors for the military, I think, if I remember correctly. Taylor Swift, millionaire family. Sarah Hyland, I don't know who she is, but I know that she comes from money. Ben Platt, father of big-time movie producer. His father is a big-time movie producer. Steve Aoki, father owns Benihana. Julie Louis-Dreyfus, Bradley Cooper, Chappell Roan, Kim Kardashian, etc. Sabrina Carpenter, Armie Hammer, Anderson Cooper, Ed Sheeran, Willow and Jaden Smith, Rooney and Kate Mara. Their family owns the New York Giants. It's the Mara family. Blue Bloods. Some of the biggest blue bloods of all time. Adam Levine, Emma Roberts, Zoe and Maya Kazan, Josh Brolin, Lana Del Rey, Bella and Gigi Hadid, Michelle Williams, Blue Ivy Carter, Miley Cyrus, Jason Schwartzman, Jennifer Lopez, Paul Giamatti. His father was the commissioner of baseball, and both him and Paul Giamatti are Skull and Bones. Ansel Elgort, Nick Kroll, John Bon Jovi, Lily Rose Depp, Maya Hawke, Robin Thicke, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tori Spelling, Edward Norton, Angelina Jolie, Kelly and Jack Osbourne, Rashida Jones, Bryce Dallas Howard, Nicola Peltz Beckham, Jordan Sparks, Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal, Spike Jonze, Balthazar Getty, Psy from Gangnam Style, remember that guy? This is Christian Bush, Allison Williams, Salma Hayek, Jenna Bush Hager, Julian Casablancas, Kit Harington, Rose Leslie, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hiddleston, Lady Gaga, Emma Stone, Call Me Emily, or I'll have you skinned alive. Jonah Hill, Tom Hardy, Drew Barrymore, Olivia Wilde, Nicola Peltz, Sigourney Weaver, Carrie Sedgwick, Riley Keough, Samantha Ronson, Jennifer Aniston, Liv Tyler, Darren Criss, Lindsay Lohan, Elle King, Jack Quaid, Colin and Chet Hanks, Cara Delevingne, Giada De Laurentiis, Brooke Shields, Zoe Kravitz, Sofia Coppola, Dakota Johnson, Margaret Qualley, J.J. Abrams, Kate Hudson, Enrique Iglesias, Kiefer Sutherland, Chris Pine. And that's just like, look at me. Look at me. Does it look like I've got like a real together life where I would have caught all of the ones that, and they keep a lot of that stuff out of the media. They don't want people to know that they're a bunch of snotty little upper class twats. Can I say that? And so we have these preconceived notions of stars being activists and intelligent, and then we associate intelligence with progressivism and whatnot. But it's all a lie. That there are no Marlon Brandos anymore. There are no Robert Redfords anymore, or Paul Newmans anymore, or I mean, there's no Black Panthers anymore. There's nothing. There are no people like that anymore that we know of, because they won't let them through the gatekeepers. And if you can't get a name for yourself, if you can't be known, if you can't become a leader, then you can't galvanize public opinion. And without charismatic leadership out in the public sphere, you can't form a counter. What's the thing with the thing? Hang on, don't tell me. But they got the God, it's so humid in here. They've got some thing where they got, look at my hair. It's so, it was out to here. The beginning of the thing, the big flaps. Anti-establishment movements. The umbrella revolution in the United States lasted for 1 month. 1 month before they tore it down and shipped it out. The supposed nasty commie bastards in China sometime later had a thing called the Umbrella Revolution in Hong Kong, which was a similar type of protest to the Occupy Wall Street. They allowed it to last for 2 months. So, who's the more despotic empire? And we got, all those roles that we thought were being played by people in culture. You don't get, Bob Dylan is done. He was done in 1966 when the supposed motorcycle accident, aka killed off and replaced by a body double. The Byrds destroy probably the most political rock band there ever was, and you get replaced bands that like Sly and the Family Stone that had something political to say and try to motivate people. Got wiped out by drugs and marginalization, and they were replaced by stuff like Foghat and Bad Company and all this white bread suburbanite bulldink. And, quite frankly, Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin with their satanic undertones and whatnot isn't doing anybody any favors either. I mean, no, everybody loves the jams, right? But do you really have to have Aleister Crowley crawling up your butt in order to be able to come up with a great rock riff? Huh? And then finally, number 1 of the top 10 worst DNA-based characteristics using a CRISPR device to genetically modify a super baby. Hitler boners. That's right. Don't want no Hitler boners in your super baby. Or maybe you do, I don't know. But it's weird to think about, but Hitler had boners. At some point in his life, Hitler had to have a boner. Or 2, or many. Who knows? I don't know. I don't remember him being sexually prolific, but they didn't talk about his, sexual proclivities much. I mean, I don't even know if for sure. It seems like it sort of came out late in the day, but that he married that Broomhilda lady or whatever he was hanging out with, Frau Bissenda. What was it? That blonde Aryan lady that he's hanging out with all the time. Finally married her. But who knows if, because like she was around for a long time, Ava Braun. She was around for a long time without getting married to Hitler. I mean, there had to be at least talk. Why don't you marry Ava Braun? She's firm boobies. Why don't you marry Hitler? Why aren't you picking up on that? If you're not going to pick up, I think I'll pick up on it myself. Ooh. Hitler had a goddamn dog. Blondie comes up to Hitler and goes licking Hitler's face. Hitler comes home from a tough day at the Wolf's Nest? And Blondie's like, oh, Hitler's here. Oh, I love you. Lick. Hitler. Oh, you gotta watch out for this. All this stuff is converging in to mean something And what it means is something messed up for the human race. They never needed us. They never wanted us around. They always wanted to exterminate as many of us as possible. At every turn, the people who got all the breaks in life were always the nastiest, Jew-killingist, extermination, genocidal maniacs. Whether you go with communism with Stalin and Mao, or capitalism with Nixon and Bush Sr., you still got, bad dudes making hay. The Kennedys die, the murderers fly. And, that's all I can tell you. Well, that's all the time we got for Top 10 Worst Loves. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another brand new Top 10 Worst Love, if I live long enough to be able to convey it to you. Oh, we've got, my goodness. What a episode we got planned for you tomorrow. It's Top 10 Worst Things to Say at a World War II Memorial Service. Oh, yeah, this ties in with all. Oh, that was. What you call it? Synchronicitations. Those were some real tight ass synchronitations there. Synchronicity. Shut up, Sting. Go save a rainforest. You what is that thing that he does with the thing? The tantric sex having Aryan douchebag? I'm Sting. I'd save the rainforest by myself. I have a concert every year at Carnegie Hall where we're trying to save the rainforest. You know, when you want to save the rainforest, tell everybody to buy frickin' Brazil nuts. It's the only place they grow is in the frickin' rainforest. If everybody was buying Brazil nuts, giving them every gift we ever gave to everybody was Brazil nuts, people would be like, oh God, Brazil nuts again? But you'd have every ounce of rainforest would still be there because you make the rainforest profitable, they'll keep it around. It's that simple. You don't need to have a bunch of concerts which bring, glory onto yourself, quite frankly, okay? And do not much in terms of the rainforest is being destroyed at rates that are probably bigger than ever. I know, through a lot of the years that since they did starting to save the rainforest and Sting and Bono and all those guys, it's accelerated at certain points, if not continually accelerating in an exponential curve. Buy Brazil nuts. Give Brazil nuts to everybody you know. And start a trend. You've got the bully pulpit. Why instead of telling them something that simple, that is completely effective, use capitalism once in a while to our advantage. It's out there. We can't control our political votes anymore. It's a done deal. But we can still control our dollar votes. And, kind of edge corporations. More that tantric Sting. It's got my brain going rapidly swirling into the gutter. But yeah, if we can edge corporations into doing things that are just a little bit more, socially responsible, paying the social costs for them doing business and things that they're ruining with their businesses, we can kind of push them in the right direction with our dollar votes. If we had not just onesie-twosie boycotting, off the fly, but had a scanning system in our phones that would, that we input all of our personal affiliations and associations and what we're devoted to politically into this software package, and we, see tinfoil on the shelf, and we click that, and it compares it to our political necessities and finds out who owns, because it's impossible to know who owns what. I can't even find out who the frickin' Philip Morris is. I think it's Altria. That's what I heard. But I want to boycott the hell out of that company, killing 500,000. They're up to 500,000 Americans a year. Still, even after all this stuff. But if we had a scanner that would not only scan things, but scan various different news sites, on the news hacker site that I would. There's 1,000 different sites, and who the hell knows what Irish Star's politics are, or Mediaite. I don't know. Washington Examiner. There's 1,000 of them. We need a system. I mean, why can't you even do that? Instead of going to a freaking Cubs game and giving over a bunch of money over to Trump Luddites, the Ricketts family. I don't get it. I don't get where you're going with this. You know? Wise up. Get engaged. To me. There you go. I finally popped the question. Oh, God, that was weak. This freaking system. Here we go. Be my bride, sweetheart. Uh-oh. That's the error beep. God, I want a good one. Oh, weak. Ciao, Dios.